All right, what's going on, y'all? We're gonna kind of talk about that thing right there. All right, guys. Been a while since I've done a car update, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do a little walk around, kind of show what's going on, and then we'll go from there. Where's it at? Where'd it go? GS right there. FRS over here. Both of them still doing good for reasons I don't want to get into too deep. Turbo ain't in, but hopefully that'll change later this year. So we're gonna sit down, do a little talk, kind of give updates where the plans are at, what parts I need, and hopefully this the last time of get it done this year. But anyway, yeah, FRS still doing good, man. Daily driver, fun little car. I would love to start modifying it, doing stuff to it. Definitely a ton of content potential with that car. We'll see what happens, because it's always a battle of like, what exhaust do I get? At least for me, the battle is like big enough of a diameter for turbo, but not raspy and loud and annoying to the point where it's honestly undrivable with the drone, and you know what I'm saying. But FRS is still around, still having a good time with it. GS though, like I said, don't need to get in too deep, but it's still around. I'll pop the hood, show you guys what's going on with it, go out, do an update on what's needed, what's left. So yeah, it's just not a daily driver, but yeah, daily driver basically. So go ahead and start her up, and we're gonna go to the garage.
And at Chase Field, get ready for the D-backs who have the
Alright, so here's where we're at. GS right now. Turbo's not in, but we've had to do a lot of maintenance to it, man. Like a lot of stuff. Shout out to the homie, because he got me inspired to make AN lines. One of the ones that's definitely gonna happen is I took out my heater core. I live in Arizona, and it costs so much to get a new heater core. When it's a second car, there's not really much point to it. So what we did here was, goes into the engine. We bypassed where the heater core would be and went right back into the engine. With that out the way, this back clamp right here, the original hose, it just got old and started leaking out really badly, so we had to replace it. Would really like to do an AN line right here. When that goes up, clears the camshaft cover and dips back down. Yeah, so that's kind of where I think that's the biggest one I want to do. Later down the line, I would like to get camshaft covers that have AN lines with the even better catch can. So and let's go close that the I'm not taking stuff out that I done got into the car. That being said, I am thinking about switching back to some factory style lights, because they're kind of all over the place. I think I might get some nice bulbs one more time and try to fix it, get it so they don't move around. Need to do some new fog lights, but definitely gonna do a splash shield underneath one of those metal ones, so you know, I have more support as far as bolting stuff in from the bottom, and having with those extra lines and stuff around, I want to make sure all that stuff is nice and secure. But yeah, this the engine. She's still running strong, man. So let's go ahead and go to the garage, give a full update. All right, guys. So stuff isn't in the car. Don't want to dive into too much about why, but did want to give you guys an update. So I guess we'll start with the downpipe hot side stuff. So a few things. Still need to get all the hot parts Cerakoted, you know, to draw off that, to trap in some of that heat. So, you know, I do have a ton of heat wrap. I got a ton of heat wrap. I think I'm gonna do the Cerakote instead. Just looks cleaner, and this manifold has a ton of. It's not the easiest thing to wrap. There's a ton of like spots, and I don't want to have one of those engine bays where I'm always having to stop and pull the grab, let alone pulling the manifold all the time. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it. I do still need to buy I'm gonna go ahead and go with the tile wastegate instead of running the CS Racing one. I do have it somewhere in the back, but I don't know, just don't want to do it. Back to the downpipe though. I do need to get my wideband bungs and my O2 sensor bungs welded between this and the manifold. So I'll probably do wideband here, O2 here, somewhere along the way. At some point though, I am gonna have to do custom exhaust system. For that, I was leaning towards doing Vibrant. As I looked around, I realized they had there's a lot of variety in the size of like mufflers. So you can get a 3-inch inlet, 3.5-inch outlet, so on and so forth. You can do carbon, you can do titanium, and I just think it's a real good price per dollar value type of thing. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at with that. I do still have the CX Racing Turbo. It's not bolted down very good right now because still in the process of kind of figuring everything out. But with that out the way, I'm gonna run this as long as I can. But I'll put an image in of what Precision is doing. Right now, Precision, they kind of win my favor more and more all the time, compared with Garrett. I mean, GTX is going to cost you a lot. But what I came to realize is the next gen turbo lineup, they have, basically they came up with a workaround to allow more turbo surface without having to, while still being drag legal for certain classes. And I was looking into that. Basically what they can do is, let's say I buy a Gen 1 62, 66. I'll probably do, I guess it just depends where I'm at with the engine, 0.68 AR or 0.84 or maybe even higher. But probably 0.84. Journal bearing, Gen 1 if I can. But what they do, they have the next gen, and this is the one where the blades cover more surface area, but it's still technically, legally within different sizes. You do the next gen center house rotating assembly, CHRA, and that lets you have basically another 200 horsepower. So like a Gen 1 62, 66 rated 700, maybe 730 horsepower. You do a next gen 62, 66. It's set for 900, which really is just kind of crazy to me when you think about how much more extra power that is within the same size frame of turbo. Still got the turbo blanket, but really it just depends where I'm at with my compression and general engine in general. With that being said, we'll go ahead and go into the engine next. I do still have all my stuff ready to go. So when the car is back in my hands full time, you know, I'll have it ready to everything will be ready to bolt in. So yeah, back to the engine. I do still need to go ahead and get the block drilled for that oil return. You know, I want to keep that simple as possible, straight down, straight back into the engine. So that's on the table. As far as the turbo goes with it, again, it really just depends where I'm at with the engine. If this CX turbo holds up, I'll just enjoy it until it's time to build it and go big power. I would like to do like maybe 9.5 compression. I did think about doing like a brand new GTE short block and just doing a thinner head gasket to kind of raise the compression a little bit. ARP head studs. So I'm still thinking about that. I do have this oil cooler. We'll see if I have to trim these AN lines. I'm pretty confident in doing it now because, you know, one of my homies put me on. It was really not that bad. I do want to get a splash shield to go with this, a metal splash shield. If I can bolt it down, this will go to the engine, but I want to be able to bolt that splash shield down and make and just have everything be fully secure. But in the meantime, you know, I'll do stock block. I want to make sure to do a return fuel mod, and kind of just go from there. We'll keep the boost low, and we'll kind of go. Next step will be transmission. Transmission is actually an interesting one. Mainly because, you know, talking with Matt the other day, he brought up, he was like, you know, I was telling him like I really would like to go T56 one day, but I kind of gotta keep it reasonable. In the meantime, you know, like no, not knocking any R154 guys here, and that is like the best one of the better transmissions you can buy. But I hear it has like a crazy long throw. I kind of spoiled myself with the Scion. So I want to do something. I mean, I don't want to have a crazy throw. So, you know, we talked about BMW ZF. And he asked a question of, why don't you go CD? And, you know, for me, I'm thinking like brand new CD. Like, what's the point when, you know, T56 is a much more. He's like, yeah, but you could probably try to find a used CD 009 6-speed to handle the power you want until you build the block and all that, and you can really afford a T56. T56 is expensive, so I am going to look into that. The other option would be the BMW ZF, which I hear the bell housing isn't very long, so it will bolt to the engine, but the shifter will be up more near the front as opposed to where the shifter column is. So maybe I'll look into that, but he brought up a great point with the CD 009. I just think the gearing, you have to be really careful with the gearing on the CD 009 and come in unison with the GS 300 diff. So maybe I'll look into 400 or 430 diff. I think it's the final drive that's better for longer gearing, because evidently CDs are really short gears, and the GS 300 diff is really short too. So maybe I'll have to look into that. But see what else. Engine, transmission, ceramic coat, Tayo. Talked about the Tayo 44. Oh yeah, DEI. Gotta make sure to do all my oil cooling stuff. So yeah, once but I mean, I wanted to make a video, kind of talk about, the GS is still around, turbo is still around. Stuff happens, but hopefully we can make a push for this, end of this year, early next year, to finally get her going on the road. Really want to make some AN line, learn how to make AN lines, and do bigger exhaust diameter and do a few things. So that being said, this is definitely a discussion video. Give me your pros and cons, and I just want to open it up for discussion. What do you guys think about Precision's next gen turbo lineup? Had a couple conversations about Precision overall as a brand in comparison to Garrett and stuff like that. So yeah, and again, I'll add images in with different stuff as far as what I'm thinking, and we'll kind of go from there. But GS is definitely still on, is definitely still being driven. Turbo's just not in yet, Like I said, stuff comes up, stuff happens, and but I didn't want to just not post anything at all. It went from being so close to just falling off a cliff. But yeah, appreciate you guys supporting the channel. Like I said, feel free to comment below what you think of R154 and CD009 and T56. I even considered doing the built automatic transmission, but I ain't gonna lie. Like, eventually I'm gonna get a truck or something that's like my 6 as a daily. So to make the GS more mine, more of a toy, more fun, I feel like the whole 6-speed thing is inevitable. I mean, there is DCT options. I'm hearing people throw in basically the ISF 8-speed. I think it's in the big. What's the big one? Not it. So it's SC, ES, GS, LS 460s. Evidently, those have a really similar transmission to the ISF. So, I mean, feel free to comment below. Your turbo option. What would you do as far as turbos, compression, pistons and rods? Honestly, like, I'm gonna have to look into that more. Like, do I want to do GTE? Oh yeah, I was in the middle of closing out the video, and actually I ain't gonna say I forgot because I know it's there. But I do still have, you know, GTE pistons and rods. I do still have them. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll get a spare block and, you know, I'll look into doing something with these. But I think I jacked up the ring lens on these. The guy sent them to me, and some of them have scored on them, some of them don't. But you know, the guy sent them to me, and they had oil caked all on them. I don't know if I cleaned them the right way, so I'm gonna just have to take that L. But we'll see what happens. I mean, that's a thick rod right there. That's what she said. But we'll see what happens. I know doing a different piston maybe will be the cheapest way because I got these stronger rods. Maybe just doing a different piston. Maybe short term doing a different piston in this block, and then getting a brand new GTE later down the line, and modifying that one even further. But I don't know, man. We'll see. Thank you guys tuning in, man. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. This is a discussion video. And you know, this is a discussion video talking about where I'm at, what I want to do. You know, feel free to weigh in on the transmission, the compression situation. And question is, which turbo would you run? What compression would you run? Which transmission would you run? But of course, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned. More content on the way. A lot's going on with the sim racing stuff. I'm gonna keep pushing that. It's cooling down, so I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna start hitting these shows and stuff too. Apex out.